TNT, despite now airing on Fridays, is still referred to as Tuesday Night Titans. Despite this, a more appropriate name might be Total Nonstop Albano. Thanks for tuning into another special episode of Tyler Vance Rants. I'm your host, Tyler Vance himself, and you're not. It's January 18th, 1985. 2 weeks ago on TNT, WWF Champion Hulk Hogan began training Hillbilly Jim and getting him ring ready. But as we saw on the last episode of WWF Championship Wrestling, this has so far only garnered mixed results. Nikolai Volkov proclaimed the citizens of the Soviet Union to have more class than their American counterparts. And Roddy Piper was unbanned from the show, which led to a confrontation between Hot Rod and Captain Lou Albano. As always, both Vince McMahon and Lord Awful Alfred Hayes host TNT, and the first guest is a man by the name of Sky Low, who we last saw on December 18th, 1984, during the wedding of Paul Vachon. Speaking of Vachon, McMahon wants to know how the newlyweds are doing.
Well, I'm going to tell you, he's been having a little problem. There are a few things that came out unsuspected.
Sort of a scandal, like.
Oh, yes, and it's very hard on Mr. Vachon.
Every relationship encounters hurdles, and I'm sure that Mr. and Mrs. Paul Vachon will be able to solve any differences that they've encountered. We get to see what Sky Low was all about back when he was an active wrestler, as the French-Canadian teamed up with Little Brutus to take on Little Joey and Frenchie LaMonte. Lolo is able to control Joey in the early portions of the match with several holds. So in control is Sky Low that he's even able to give a free scalp massage to his opponent, which the referee mistakes for hair pulling. Speaking of this goof referee, he takes so much time sauntering over to Sky Low's pin attempt, but by the time that it gets there, there's no point in even counting anymore. I know this footage is old, but I sure hope that referee was fined, suspended, and had his referee's license ripped up in front of him. Lolo is then lifted up by the tremendous strength of Little Joey, who tries to get a tag to his partner Frenchie LaMonte, but it's interrupted by Little Brutus. Joey is subsequently double teamed in enemy territory, but does manage to finally get a tag to LaMonte following a haymaker delivered to Little Brutus. Frenchie LaMonte goes on an absolute rampage, taking it to Brutus before chasing Sky Low all around the ring. Lolo sprints like his life depends on it and finally gets a tag to Little Brutus, but receives a drop kick as soon as he enters the squared circle. Despite this, Little Brutus is able to regain control of the match after hitting a backdrop and rolling up Little Joey for the 3 count. Back to the TNT studio, Vince McMahon seemed somewhat enamored by the specially crafted boots that Sky Low is wearing, so the former wrestler climbs on top of McMahon's desk to give him a closer look. Lolo wears these specifically crafted boots during the winter because, as he says himself,
You're a big man, you see?
Yeah.
But me and my size,
Right.
before the snow, I started getting in trouble.
the next guest on TNT is the Executioner, and Vince McMahon's first question is why the man wears a mask while competing in the ring.
That's none of your business. It's nobody's business why I wear a mask.
I know some advantages of wearing a mask are the fact that your opponent really doesn't know who they're facing, they have no idea if what they're doing to you is causing any harm, and they can't read the emotions on your face. But Vince McMahon wants to know what some of the disadvantages are.
Well, there are disadvantages such as peripheral vision. Sometimes it cuts it off, sometimes you can't see your opponent.
Now, I've watched many masked men wrestle, and I've seen a lot of them. They have tremendous talent, but there seems to be something missing with this particular one.
Because you're so full of natural talent and charisma yourself, right? You might have guessed that the final guest of TNT is none other than Captain Lou Albano. And at this point, I have to ask how much airtime and interview time the Captain is going to hog with all of the appearances that he's made on TNT. No one on the WWF roster, past or present, has been on TNT as much as the Captain has, and I personally believe that it's ridiculous. Oh, don't give me that. Listen to these two-faced sycophants who booed and jeered the captain throughout most of 1984. Two-faced morons is what they are.
First of all, I'm not a goody-goody guy or a saint or anything like that, but I'd like to apologize to you and to Lord Hayes for coming out here and carrying on the way I did.
I'm so sorry I'm a washed-up has-been. I'm so sorry, Vinny, that I smell like cheese. And I'm sorry that I gave up such a promising management career just to be friends with Hulk Hogan. Ugh! My personal grievances with both Cyndi Lauper and Captain Lou Albano aside, they have both been named Multiple Sclerosis Association Chairman for life, and that's definitely something to be proud of. Recently, the duo were honored by the association for raising $4.2 million to help combat the disease, and they continue to raise funds to this day. Something that Captain Lou Albano shouldn't be proud of is the threat that he issues to Rowdy Roddy Piper.
You're gonna pay somewhere along the line, Roddy Piper, Roddy Piper, you're gonna pay!
Even the WWF champion, Hulk Hogan, has made a promise to the captain to crush Hot Rod. But honestly, what do Hogan and the captain think that they're going to accomplish? Turns out, not even Captain Albano has a strategy.
You may knock me down, you may do this or that, but I'm man enough to stand back up, to fight you.
Now you might be asking, Tyler, what are both Vince McMahon and Lord Awful Alfred Hayes doing in a barber's lounge? Well, you'll just have to tune into next week's episode to find out. Thanks for tuning in to another special episode of Tyler Vance Rants. Don't forget to like the video, hit the bell, and subscribe so it's total nonstop Tyler. TNT, get it? You can also follow me on social media where it's 1985 and pro wrestling all over again. That's all for now. So long. I am your host Tyler Vance himself, and my lips are dry.